Coming down in 3, 2, 1.
Every Monday is $9 Mondays over at WagerTalk.com and SportsMemo.com. Get any best bet or daily package for only $9.
Okay, here we go. 3, 2, 1. You are live, people.
Welcome to Wager Talk Today. It's Monday. 5 shows this week, all 12 to 1 p.m. Eastern. Teddy Covers in the seat with me. Welcome, everybody, and sorry for the small delay. Sammy, Craig, guitar at Robert, McGinnis. Nice day yesterday, Max, Madison, Sebastian. Love having you guys waiting for us. Hit that like button. And Teddy, jam-packed Monday show. Marco D'Angelo on in about 30 seconds. We're going to talk both NFL football games. We're also going to take apart week 4. What did we learn? And you, my brother, what do you got for us in the Teddy's big game breakdown?
We'll talk MLB playoff baseball for tonight. The Yankees and Rays in their Game 1 showdown. We'll break that down in Big Game Breakdown. And, of course, Prez and I will also go through the entire slate of NFL games yesterday and talk about what we learned from the wins and the losses and maybe some things that weren't indicative of the final scores that we saw, stuff that we can use moving forward. So you're right, Prez, jam-packed show. Let's bring Marco on right now.
Marco D'Angelo, 4-0 day in NFL yesterday. Congratulations, a great Saturday as well. A privilege to have you on. You look good, dude, and you look healthy, and that's the most important thing. Way to go.
Well, thanks, guys. And for a change, didn't have to sweat any yesterday. So, I didn't lose any more hair. It's always fun when you do that. Our big game was Indianapolis yesterday. And although the final score was only 19-11, that was the most dominating 19-11 game you're going to, witness probably all years. The Colts were in total control. And week 1 of the Nick Foles experiment, well, not so good.
Well, I had the opposite experience. My 5% play was on Tampa Bay at -7. And, well, we at least got a push, but it was the sexiest, hottest, most stunning push I've ever been a part of. Teddy, how did you do? 2-1, I think, right?
Yeah, all weekend I won my right sides, and the coin flip games I couldn't do anything with, unfortunately. So we came away with a modestly profitable weekend in college and the NFL, 2-1 yesterday. But unfortunately, the close games did not go my way. The easy ones were easy. Carolina yesterday was pretty easy. No doubt about that one.
Cleveland.
And, of course, what's that?
You were on Cleveland as well.
Yeah. Well, I mean, look, it's the second straight week that my team has blown a 24, 27, whatever it is, point lead. That game made me absolutely crazy. All was well that ended well, just like the Bills the week before against the Rams. But yeah. I'm not enjoying the blown 24/27 point leads all that much. Marco's losing, and Marco's already lost his hair. Mine just gets grayer.
Yeah, and I just keep looking better. Let's get to it, boys. New England, plus 10.5 against Kansas City. Total obviously has been bet down. Last night there were 50s. Now there are 48s in some places, mostly 48.5. Marco, I'm going to go to you first. What do you like in this game?
Well, guys, obviously we had to handicap this game twice because of the situation with the COVID testing positive with Cam Newton. Changes the quarterback situation, and it changes it pretty big. But, the question is, does it warrant what we're seeing in the line? When this game was on the board prior to Cam Newton being ruled out of the game, we were looking at Kansas City at 7.5. And I'll be honest with you, at that number, and when we did the Bet On It show on Wednesday, I said, even though this is a potential flat spot for Kansas City coming off the Monday night game, big win over Baltimore. I mean, it was the big statement game. Baltimore, this was supposed to be the AFC Championship game last year. Many think it'll be the AFC Championship game this year. And they had a beatdown on Baltimore. So it is a prime spot to have a letdown, but it's the Patriots and Bill Belichick, whether it's Tom Brady or not. But now with no Cam Newton, this line is shot up. It went as high as 11, and it's come back down to 10.5. So what Vegas is trying to tell us is that Cam Newton is worth 3.5 to 4 points. I just can't buy that at this juncture. We're only 4 games into the season, and we really don't know how much Cam Newton is worth to this offense. Yes, his running abilities are huge, and against this opponent, Kansas City, who has had problems stopping the run, I wanted to see Cam Newton in there, but we're not going to do that, and Brian Hoyer is not going to threaten anybody, put fear in any defense's eyes with his legs. So that changes the complexion of the game. But I still think Belichick's game plan is going to be to run the football and use the running backs with the short passing game as an extension of that running game. Now, is that enough to get me involved in the under? With this season, I just, I can't pull a trigger on an under and feel comfortable with them. Even though this line was inflated due to the Kansas City offense, we know the only way to beat them is to try to keep that Kansas City offense on the sidelines. For me, with the inflated number, if I had to take this game tonight, I would have to take New England plus the points. I think they still can keep this as a touchdown game, and that's where I'm at. I don't know if you guys think this line's correct, but I think it's just a little bit inflated.
Yeah, Teddy, let me ask you, Marco makes some really good points about the running game and Kansas City's a run D. And, everybody looking at this is thinking, okay, well, no Cam and New England's going to run. They ran a lot last game. They got to keep Kansas City's offense off the field. That helps out the under. Belichick's a sneaky devil. When you think they're about to run, he's going to come out firing. What do you think total-wise?
Well, I mean, we've seen the number get bet down already. And when you're talking about a significant drop-off at the QB position, Cam Newton to Brian Hoyer, I thought that Stidham might get the start, but I haven't seen anything that would indicate that just yet. But, I mean, the Patriots do have 2 QBs if Hoyer struggles. The strength of the Kansas City defense is their pass rush. If you're going to beat the Chiefs, you have to do what the Ravens couldn't do last week, which is run the football down their throat. And KC was unable, Baltimore, who's as good a running team as there is in the NFL, was unable to do that against the Chiefs last week because the passing game didn't work. So I'm not expecting the Patriots to do anything tonight except for try to burn as much clock as they can. So you can understand why the money has come in on the under. You're not getting the best of the number anymore, obviously, with this total bet down. We're looking at 48.5, 49 is the prevailing number, down from 50.5. But even at that number, I could only take under. And, it's zero fun betting unders in the NFL right now. It's zero fun betting Chiefs games unders. And the unders that are cashing, just about all of them are a sweat and a half. This is a game I'll probably sit on the sidelines for.
Marco, a lot of these games, it feels like they're starting off slow. You look at the Seattle game yesterday; it was under, and then all of a sudden, it pushed for some people. I think the first quarter under 10 seems to be a good play, and also maybe the first half under. But I'm with you. I don't think you can bet unders at all right now. I got lucky yesterday with the under in the Indy game. I'm not going to go with the.
Yeah, guys, you look at the example last night, and we talked about it before we went on the air. The San Francisco-Philadelphia game was an absolute stone cold under all the way. And then it came down to you had to sweat a 2-point conversion to decide the outcome of that game. There's just the teams can score so quickly. And when one team falls behind, which you have that set up in both of the Monday night games this week, one team, if they're behind, they got to keep throwing. And these defenses just are not good this year, whether it's being, like I said, the beginning, I blamed a lot of it on they're not calling penalties, and, their tackling has been atrocious. So many yards after the catch. Guys are 3, 4, 5 yards open before a defender even gets to them. So, I'm very cautious on the totals, but we're seeing Vegas keep moving them. Look at the Dallas-Cleveland game. They kept moving that total up and up, and yet it kept getting bet over, and we saw the result there. And tonight, when we go looking at this second game, Atlanta and Green Bay, the books are, and it's the last game, so there's all kinds of parlays that are going to be pending, money line parlays, teasers, and everything's going to be tied up to Green Bay money line, Green Bay tees down, and the over in that last game. The books are going to have a ton of exposure. And I know what will end up happening. The line will keep creeping. Right before game time, you're going to see the sharps that are going to do what they do. They look for the value, and the value is going to say on paper that the total's too high, and you'll see that brief buyback when the sharps take a position on the under, and they'll be just like everybody else sweating the game in the fourth quarter where this thing's going to land at. But I can tell you, I will not have a ticket in my pocket on the under in Atlanta Green Bay. Now, what I will have looking at the game, is there any coach, maybe Adam Gase and Bill O'Brien might have something to say, but I don't think there's a coach in the NFL right now that's on a hotter seat than Dan Quinn. This is a guy that the Atlanta Falcons, ever since the Super Bowl collapsed, this team has not been good. They started the season out last year 1-7. They rallied, winning 6 of the last 8 games to save his job last year. And, be careful what you wish for. The players played hard for him, and now they got another year of it. And they're 0-3. They've had 2 monumental collapses in the fourth quarter, and now they're on national TV against everybody's darling, the Green Bay Packers and Aaron Rodgers. But if you look at this number, it was sitting at 7 all week, and today we've seen this line move down to 6. Now, Devontae Adams is definitely out for Green Bay, but still, the money is coming in. The sharp money is coming in on Atlanta. And I agree with the Atlanta money. You got a desperate dog here. The season at 0-4 is done. It's pretty much done at 0-3 in the division that Atlanta's in. Now, of course, if they were in the NFC East, they would be one win away from first place. But that's not the case in the division they are. So this is an absolute must-win for them. And when you have a desperate team like that, it comes down to they're going to take chances. You're not going to see them punting the football on 4th and 2. They're going to take chances. And that's when you're talking about totals, that's a good thing if you want to bet an over, because no matter what the result is of gambling, you're either going to keep a drive alive or turn the ball over in good field position, which again leads to more points scored. Green Bay's another team that I know what happens. You go in with a game plan, you look at the game film, and you say, you can run the football right up the middle on this Green Bay Packer team. And you do that, and you do that. And then all of a sudden, you make a mistake, Green Bay scores a quick touchdown, and you can still stay in your game plan. But when they get the game extended to 2 scores, like they've done in all of their games, then all of a sudden that running game is abandoned because you're playing catch up. This is a team that's giving up 5.5 yards per carry, Green Bay. But if you look at the 3 games, the teams that are running against them have only run the football 22, 21, and 20 times. Because what happens? You fall behind. If Atlanta can stay in this game with their offense and have good balance, run and pass, I think they can trade points with Green Bay in this game. And I'm going to look to the points in this one. And I think even though it's high, it's going to be a high-scoring game. This is one of those games, to use the cliche, team with the ball last could win the game. And I'm going to look for Atlanta, the desperate dog, to get the job done tonight. And if I had to play it, it's Atlanta and over if you're correlating it.
Teddy, I like everything Marco just said. I agree. Atlanta and the over. And also, you got to take into account that back door as well. It's going to be wide open with an offense Atlanta that can score. Teddy, I think we're going to get Atlanta's best effort of the year without. And I really can't decide how good this Green Bay Packer team actually is. Where are you going in this game?
Well, tonight, Green Bay may not be as good as we've seen them. Top two receivers this year have been Allen Lazard and Devontae Adams. Both of them are expected to be out this season. They combined for 4 touchdowns, about 450 receiving yards, 30 catches between them. That's their top 2 wide receivers. Mercedes Lewis not supposed to play tonight either at the tight end position for Green Bay. They have multiple injuries on the offensive line, and that's certainly likely to be a factor for the Packers. Yeah, this is a matchup of 2 defenses that I don't trust, period. And Green Bay has certainly had the benefit of a lot of right team at the right time so far this season. That said, I mean, I understand all the wise guys are betting Atlanta. If you read the post-game quotes last week from the Falcons, I'm not convinced that you were betting Atlanta tonight because that team sounded crushed, back-to-back blown leads. And if you have the Falcons, they're up 10. What do you do tonight? Bet the Packers in game. That's what you do because Atlanta blows leads. And frankly, that's the way I'm going to look to bet this. If Atlanta gets up early, I'm looking at some Green Bay. Otherwise, I'm probably not going to be involved.
That's a great point, Teddy. And guys, make sure, put your alarm on your phone. Tell Siri to remind you to bet Green Bay if Atlanta goes up, especially late. Great stuff, guys. Marco, I can't thank you enough for joining us. Anything to promote? I know you're hot as hell. I mean, not
you
physically.
can check out the my packages over at WagerTalk. Obviously, I do have a Monday night selection up. We talked about the 2 Monday night games, so you kind of got it listening to what I had to say. And just to throw one last thing to what Teddy said, and he brought up a good point about the quotes from the players last week. And this is something that you can file away in your handicapping to a point to take note of. If this game was played yesterday on a regular game on a Sunday and reading the quotes that Teddy was talking about, I would 100% agree with him. The fact that it is a standalone TV game, these guys are they're athletes, they're professionals, but nobody wants to be embarrassed. And when you're playing on national TV, a Monday night game, you throw all of those other things out. The team's going to bring their best stuff. If they lose tonight, go back and read those quotes from last week and apply it accordingly next week.
Marco, quick question from Rigo Vega. What a nice name, Rigo Vega. One of our viewers. Teaser for tonight. Would you tease the Pack down to 0 or would you tease the Falcons up? I think there's going to be a bunch of Kansas City Pack 2-teamers.
Oh, the books already have the teaser tickets printed out in advance. You just go up and say how much, and they hand you the ticket because that is going to be the only combination. As tempting as teasing Atlanta up might seem on paper, you've got a high total and the variance of scoring. You really don't want to be teasing a dog up in a high, high total because it could get ugly for Atlanta.
Yeah, your basic teaser strategy is very simple. All right, you want to tease dogs of less than a field goal up to more than a touchdown, and you want to teach favorites of more than a touchdown down below a field goal. Neither of tonight's games falls into basic teaser strategy. If you bet a teaser on tonight's game, it is flat out a negative expectation proposition, regardless of whether you bet side or total, regardless of which side or total you bet. It's a negative expectation bet.
Outstanding stuff, Marco. Get the hell out of here. We love having you. We'll see you next Monday. Let's take a quick break, and we're right back with a whole lot more, including Ralph Michaels with some incredible stats.
Buy a 30-day all access, get 7 days all access for free. That's $119 value. Why pay $25 for a 1-play package or $40 on a 5% best bet? Why spend $17 a day on a 7-day all access package? We know some of you do not want to commit to a full season or a 12-month package, so the 30-day all access is the perfect solution. And we made it better. With a 30-day all-access package, you're paying about $11.63 per day. Today through Sunday, the powers that be have made up a new 37-day all-access special for the same $349 price as the 30-day package. No coupon needed. Go to your favorite Cappers homepage at either WagerTalk or sportsmemo.com and check out the 37-day all-access special. That's about $9 a day. And of course, it includes every $40 5% best bet.
Welcome back to Wager Talk Today, your one-stop spot for sports betting information. We call it Sports Central for Gamblers. That's what we try to do 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, from noon to 1 on the East Coast, from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. here in Las Vegas. Let's talk bad beats, bad bets, and bad for the book. 6 Bs, B, 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 B. We'll start with some bad beats. The Ravens. Yeah, if you had Baltimore minus the spot yesterday, especially if you got the worst of the number, that wasn't any fun. Washington with the late meaningless TD allows them to sneak in under the closing number of 14.5, 31-17, the final. And if you lost that game, it's about betting skills, not handicapping skills. You could have had the Ravens at minus 14 on game day. You could have had them at minus 13.5, minus 13, minus 12.5. If you're losing bets like that, it's not handicapping. It's about your betting skills. That's something that you need to work on a little bit. Washington with that late TD. I mean, Chargers plus the points yesterday was pretty rough, I got to say. You know, they led 24-7 late first half. If they would have just taken a knee before halftime, they would have won the game. They probably would have covered the point spread. Instead, they don't take a knee, fumble the ball, give the Bucs all the momentum, and end up getting blown away in the second half of that ball game. And, of course, the late field goal equals a 7-point Bucs win. That equals a cover or a push, depending on where you got the number. That was rough if you had the Chargers. A bunch of nightmarish fourth quarters for underbettors yesterday. The Bills-Raiders goes overs on the meaningless touchdown with over 2 to play. That was just one of a bunch. Bad beats. The San Fran total with Philly lands right in the middle. Opens 43.5, closes 46, lands 45. Yeah, you got the fourth quarter pick 6 that got you there. Got Mullins benched as well. But you also had the missed 2-point conversion at the end. That killed Prez's parlay. He had over 45.5 on that one. That's certainly a rough beat for the Prez. When you talk about bad bets, I mean, they bet the Lakers last night. That wasn't a right side. 115-104 Miami. The total lands right in the middle. 217.5 opener, 219.5 closer. Lands 219. That wasn't good for the books. Other bad bets yesterday. Let's see. They bet San Fran up to -9. They lost outright to Philly. That was a book saver last night on another moderately rough day for many sports books in town. The fact that the Niners lost outright was a very good result for the books at the end of the day. They bet the Rams up to -14 against the G-Men. That was a loser. They bet Detroit down to +3. Someday they'll learn with the Lions. Lions had a 14-0 lead. You blink, and they're down 35-14. Detroit money. Not right yesterday. They bet the Jaguars. Cincinnati was the better team. They really were. They overcame adversity in that ballgame. I was impressed with some of the things the Bengals did yesterday. Cincy was the right side. The Jacksonville money all wrong. And Miami got lots of money, +6.5 down to +4.5. Miami did not win those bets. Seattle with the money. Blown coverage before halftime had significant implications in the finale for that one. Bad for books. Look, the over's ruling early again. 6-1-1 in the 8 early games. The only under came by a point in Seattle-Miami. 55 total with the total. It finished with 54. That certainly wasn't good for the books. The Colts took a boatload of money. They were -1 at the open, closed -3.5. There was no Bears money. India right side. Carolina took a bunch of sharp money yesterday against Arizona, down to +3. They were right side. The Browns took a lot of money. The over took a lot of money. They were both right sides in Dallas. And the Bills and over both took money. Buffalo over just sneaks in at the end. And Buffalo gets the win and cover. None of those good results for the bookmakers. Back to you, Prez.
Teddy, it drives me nuts that the best segment on the show doesn't include me.
Well, you should get used to it. I would think that by now you'd be used to all the best segments on any show that you do won't include you.
Nicely done. And you did that great, brother. And just to let everybody know, because I'm always I'm very anti-parlay. I do always make one parlay on Sundays for fun. And yes, my parlay last night, I won every game going into the late game. I had over 45.5 in the San Fran game. And, well, that's why you don't make parlays. Welcome to the show, Wager Talk Today. Gene Montoya, Jim Tepe, Arno, Nate, Mike Campbell, Proud Babylonian, teasing the NFL. Always great to see you, my friend. James McGinnis, Sebastian Anthony, and on, Nathan Cerna, Davy Jones. We absolutely love having you guys. A really good weekend for a bunch of people, Teddy. Saturday was mediocre. Oskheim Sports led the way, and him and Kevin Dolan both had a 3-1 college football day, but some outstanding performances by the Wager Talk team on Sunday. Marco, as we spoke, 4-0. Las Vegas, Chris, 3-0. McGinnis, 3-1. Ralph won both his games, including a 5% play. Carmine Bianco, dude, 3-0 from Carmine, and now he is on an 8-1 NFL run, so big shout out to him. Also, everybody, remember, it's $9 Mondays at Wager Talk and Sports Memo. $9 Mondays. Anybody's play, $9. That's it. I've got to play in baseball up tonight. I'm on a 13-1 base playoff run. 13-1. And I'm in action on both games in NFL. Teddy, let's get to what did we learn and in the NFL Week 4. And I'd like to start with the entire NFC East. You know, I've always said, and I think it would really be a cool thing, that if you don't make it to 500, you lose your playoff spot and it goes to a third wild spot team. We're looking at that right now, but nice performance by Philadelphia. Let's start with them. Are they back? Are they gonna go on one of their Philadelphia 5-1 rolls?
No. I mean, when we look at the NFL right now, you really have to put teams into two categories: completely riddled with injuries or only modestly riddled with injuries. Philly last night was able to take advantage of a San Francisco team that was completely riddled with injuries. And they were able to make plays in the fourth quarter and won a game. But at best right now, the Eagles are, again, in my power ratings, I have them as a below, bottom half of the league type of team. And when you have the injuries that they have at wide receiver, at offensive line, and in the secondary, you don't anticipate it getting better immediately. And, when we look at the rest of that division, if you talk about when you look at the odds to win the division right now, the Giants stand out like a sore thumb. And they scored 3 touchdowns in 4 games, but the defense played well yesterday.
Yep.
And the rest of the division stinks. So anyone that you can find at 10-1 or better, you got to be interested in, because I don't anticipate Philly bouncing back. And the Dallas Cowboys team that is now 1-3. Look, the offense is great, and was again yesterday, and they rallied back from 27 down. But Dak Prescott threw 4 touchdown passes yesterday. The Cowboys went 3 for 3. I threw for 400 and something yards, or was it 5? I think he got 500 yards and 4 touchdowns. They went 3 for 3 on 2-point conversions. They scored in the red zone. They ran for 4.7 yards a carry, and they still lost at home by double digits. That's where Dallas' defense is right now. If you don't have a defense, you're in trouble. And as for Washington, that team's rough. And again, the head coach, Ron Rivera, is going through chemo right now. And Rivera yesterday, he was not himself on the sidelines, and Washington did not look like a well-coached team.
Teddy, let's go to Cleveland. We just talked about Dallas, and Cleveland offensively looked great. And I'll tell you, Jarvis Landry might want to become a quarterback. That was a hell of a pass by but their defense, though, is their defense weak, or is that Dallas offense just that good on that comeback? Their defense did turn the ball over a few times. But now we have a stacked division with Baltimore, Pittsburgh, and Cleveland. How far off of Baltimore and Pittsburgh are Cleveland?
That's an interesting question, and the answer is to be determined. If you ask me what's the upside for the Browns, I say the upside is Super Bowl. Just like it is for Baltimore, just like it is for Pittsburgh. I think Cleveland has that level of talent on their roster. If Baker Mayfield can play. And again, Mayfield hit the throws yesterday. At times during that game, you're ready to flip him off if you had Cleveland. Defensively, they have playmakers. Offensively, they have playmakers.
Yeah.
They're clearly better coached than they've been in any recent season. And there's all kinds of talent on that squad. So I'm not going to sell the Browns short. They'll go as far as Baker Mayfield can take them. And right now, in that division, when you talk about Lamar Jackson and Ben Roethlisberger, I still got to rank Mayfield as the third best QB in the division. And frankly, given what we've seen out of Joe Burrow, maybe the fourth best QB in that division.
Teddy, is Arizona a sell team right now? They to get their act together the last couple of days. Shocking loss yesterday, although you predicted it. And the Rams, too. I don't know. I think we should maybe not overreact to the Rams' performance yesterday. They might be a bye team next in their next game.
So what do we want to do in the NFL? We want to bet on teams if they look bad, and you want to bet against teams after they look good. Arizona, 2 weeks ago, looked bad. And last week against Carolina, again, I thought that game was easy. I'm kicking myself for not 5%ing it. I 4%ed it, so be it. But it was not, Arizona's not a finished commodity. All right. And when you look at, you say DeAndre Hopkins, wow, they have DeAndre Hopkins and Larry Fitzgerald's been a non-factor. Andy Isabella's been a non-factor. It's Kyler. It's one a running quarterback, a running back in Kenyon Drake, and one receiver. The weapons for Arizona aren't there yet. And defensively, certainly, they're not there yet. All that said, I think now's the time to buy Arizona after the back-to-back performances. If I'm playing in the Jets game next week, it sure as hell not going to be but the Jets plus the points. And the Rams, great quote from Aaron Donald after the game. He's like, we didn't play well, lots of lessons to be learned, but I'd rather learn lessons off a win than off a loss. Rams defense is, don't be fooled by the sexy offenses. Pay attention to the sexy defenses. The Rams defense, after that miserable performance against Buffalo, which everyone's having a rough time against the Bills this year, LA bounced back with a strong defensive showing yesterday, admittedly, against a weak Giants team. Although Jared Goff, some weeks you get the good Goff and some weeks you don't. And that's been pretty well the case of his NFL career, which means that there is at least, in my mind, some limited upside for the LA Rams. But you ask me over the next week or the next 2 weeks, you're going to make more money betting on or against these two teams? I say bet on as opposed to bet against.
There's 4 QBs that are separating themselves from the pack this year. Russell Wilson, Aaron Rodgers, Pat Mahomes, and Josh Allen. My God, this Buffalo team. And he reminds me of Kenny Stabler. I don't know if you guys remember him. There's just something wild and crazy about him. He's a cowboy. He's willing to do pretty much anything for a win. This Buffalo team, Teddy, are they buy or sell moving forward?
So the Bills are no surprise to me. My clients and I have cash tickets with the Bills. I have the Bills as my big ticket bet over 9 wins. It's not like Buffalo is. It's a surprise to the people in the mainstream media. It's not a surprise to anyone that paid attention to the offseason. Josh Allen is real. The Bills' weapons around him are real. My biggest shock is how poorly Buffalo's defense is played. I think the defense is going to get better as the season progresses. The Bills are absolutely Super Bowl contenders, and they are a bet-on team. And I'm still not convinced that they're priced in the right range because of those blown leads. They've blown leads, and that's a defensive issue. So we're not seeing Buffalo priced through the roof just yet.
Yeah, I'm with you on Buffalo 100%. Last team I want to talk about really quickly, bottom line, Indy. Their defense, as good as they've looked, I think they've just played soft teams. I don't think Indy is as good as people think they are. And Phillip Rivers, he just worries me all the time.
Yeah, Rivers was awful yesterday. Absolutely awful in that game. That said, we have a defense that has been dominant for 4 straight games. Every quote out of that defense is, we're confident. We thought we might be really good. We are really good. And I know they haven't faced anyone, but recognize that the betting markets are going to give the Colts a whole lot of credit for that defense we're seeing Indy's power rating notch up every week. And we saw a bunch of Colts money this past Sunday at Chicago. Again, that opened 1, that closed 3.5. That's all about Indy's defense. And being that everyone that bet Indy cashed, I would anticipate the Colts will continue to have a fair bit of betting market support in recent weeks, perhaps be something of an overvalued commodity moving forward.
He's Teddy Covers. I'm the Prez. You're watching Wager Talk Today. Guys, hit that like button, please. 500 of you watching, which greatly appreciated, but let's get those likes up. Teddy, quick break. We're right back with your big game breakdown and Ralph Michaels, trends and angles.
Every Monday is $9 Mondays over at WagerTalk.com and SportsMemo.com. Get any best bet or daily package for only $9.
It's time for big game breakdown here on Wager Talk Today. Let's talk a little MLB AL playoff action for tonight. We have the New York Yankees as road chalk in Tampa. Anywhere from minus 145. I'm seeing minus 150s out there right now. It's been nothing but Yankees money. Total of 7 between the Rays and the Yanks. And I'm going to start my analysis with this. What the hell does Tampa have to do to get any respect? All right. They won the division title. They beat the Yankees 8 out of 10 times in the regular season. The Yankees were outscored by 13 runs in those ball games. You have a legitimate ace on the mound in Blake Snell. He dominated game 1 against Toronto. He gave up 1 hit in that ball game. He was dominant against the Yankees in 4 hits allowed in 8 innings of work against the Yankees so far this season. The Rays are playing at home. And yet the markets are saying, Garrett Cole. I understand. And certainly the Yankees team that they dominated during the regular season. Look, they didn't have Stanton for the last 7 meetings. The Yankees didn't have Judge for the last 6 meetings. They didn't have LeMahieu for the last 3 meetings. But one thing that Tampa did do this year, they hit Garrett Cole. 5 of Cole's 14 home runs allowed came against Tampa Bay in 3 starts against them. Had a 4.96 ERA in those ball games. I understand the Yankees as modest favorites, as short favorites for the series. I understand them as short favorites for the game. But minus 145, minus 150, I'm seeing a plus 140 as a take back on Tampa. Yeah, I'm interested in that price. It'd be raise or pass for this better.
Great stuff, Teddy. And I'm in play in baseball. I can't wait to watch tonight. 3 games going on at once for me. I'm excited. Luckily, I have 3 TVs in the same room. Let's bring in Ralph Michaels, one of the greatest, certainly the hardest working man at WagerTalk.com. I missed you, bro. How did you do this weekend?
Oh my God! Look, we sort of have pink, blue, pink, purple. What the hell's with these colors of the shirts, guys? I didn't get the email. I guess I'm on the wrong end of the spectrum. So
what do you mean? It looks like your shirt's mauve.
Well, yeah, I guess it's lavender, Prez. So
yeah, dude, lavender, pink.
Teddy,
okay, I know you want to go. You want to go talk?
No. You guys were talking about the Colts, and I'm just going to give a perspective in college football, which is almost identical to the Colts, and that's BYU. What do you do with BYU being the dominant team they are? Number 1 in yards per game diff, number 1 in points per game diff, number 1 in yards per points per game, and yards per play. They played Navy, Troy, and La Tech. So there's another team completely dominant. The opponents they have played are weak. So you have to make that determination how good the team is relative to how bad the team is. So, that's what handicapping's all about.
Let me jump in really quick because I think it's very different from college football versus the NFL. Because in college football, the best teams are 50 points better than the weaker team. And in the NFL, the better teams are 17 points weaker than the weakest team. So
Fair
when
enough.
you see those massive differentials in college, it's more massive than you'll find in the NFL. So therefore, I would put a big asterisk by BYU stats, even more than I'm putting them by the Indianapolis Colts stats, for what it's worth.
Fair enough, Teddy. We're going to talk a Monday night angle tonight. Again, I'm giving you this angle of the day so you understand the team in the situation has done this. I did not bet this game. I did not give this game out. But it is an interesting thought. Since 2015, so we're in our 5th year of this system, simply when a team was outgained, yet won that game straight up as a dog, since 2015, they have been a stellar 68% against the spread, going 38, 18, and 2. Obviously, the Packers find themselves in that situation tonight. Again, so simply it's this. An NFL team that was outgained but won the game straight up has covered 68% of the games, their following game, since 2015. And you talked about the same game, Teddy, as your big game breakdown, as I'm going to break down as the situational play of the day. And I have a question for you at the end as well. I know what you're going to say, Teddy, but I'm pretending I'm the audience to give a novice question to you. So I want to preface it not like saying, oh, I wonder what Teddy's really going to say, but instead, I think the audience might have the question, so I'll answer it. I'm going with the New York Yankees and Tampa Bay under 3.5 the first 5 innings, Cole and Snell. You know, you talked about the Yankees and the Rays and what they need to get respect. They're a much different hitting team against lefties, against righties. They're number 5 in slugging against righties, but they're only number 21 against lefties. They ran through the Indians lineup. The Indians has no lefty starters. First couple innings, Cole has only allowed 3 total runs. The last 25 innings he pitched, his last 5 starts, the first 5 innings. Snell has only allowed 2 runs the last 25 innings pitched, the first 5 innings of his last 5 starts. So I'm going to go under 3.5. We talked about this last week. You have a different lighting setup when you're playing at this period in time. You're playing in a semi-unique stadium, so I'm going to go under that total. So my question for you is this, Teddy. Since the American League is playing in Petco and in Dodgers, and the National League's playing in Rangers and Houston, do the Rays get any advantage at all for playing here last year in 2019 and taking 2 of 3 against the Padres?
So I don't know that the Rays have any significant advantage from that. Maybe if you want to quantify it, maybe a penny or two. But playing in San Diego is not the preferred venue for all of those big Yankees bats who can hit home runs in the Bronx without any problem. Not necessarily as easy to do that at a field like Petco.
And it's Monday, so, I'm going to break down the college football numbers from this past week, and then tomorrow we'll break down the NFL numbers. It's important to know this season is a little different than other seasons. We know in the NFL, year to date right now, NFL totals 64.8% to the over. We know the scoring is up. We know the penalties are down. But what has changed in college football, if anything? So let's just make you aware of the numbers for this week and then year to date. So looking at the numbers for this past week, home teams were only 20-12, average line of 7.5. 20-12 is a favorite. 16-6 is a home favorite. 9-6 is a conference home favorite. Those are straight up numbers. Home teams this past week, ATS, 16-14, 53%. Favorites, not home favorites, not away favorites. Simply, favorites this week in college football, 10 wins, 20 losses against the spread, 33.3%. Home favorites, 8-12-2, 40%. Conference home favorites, 5-9-1 ATS, 36%. And over-unders, homes, 50%. Favorites, 50%. Home favorites, 50%. But remember what we talked about last week. Conference home favorites, no different this past week. They went 5-9-1 over-under, 36% to the over, 64% to the under. And year-to-date, let me just run down the numbers in college football. Home teams, 47%. Favorites, year-to-date college football, 41.2%. Home favorites, college football this year, 41.9%. Conference home favorites, 40.6%. Over-unders, 48, 48, 43% for a home favorite. And conference home favorites, when you have a conference home favorite, the over-under 43.8%. So, obviously right now, where we're talking about is there a home field edge with limited fans, there has not been. Home favorites year to date, 41.9%.
Ralph, I mean, that is meaningful information. Okay. Some stuff I take a look and say, yeah, well, smoke and mirrors. Some stuff I say, wow, you better pay attention to that. And I noticed it all weekend. I was making notes. This team has no home field. This team seems dead in their home field. Wow, there's no home field here. Wow, there's no home field there. Wow, they missed their home field. I'm sure you're going to come up with similar stuff for the NFL tomorrow. But without the crowd support, these home field edges are legitimately weaker than they've been in seasons past. It's showing very clearly in conference play, and it's showing very clearly with the home favorites across the board. Bettors, take note.
Ralph, awesome stuff, man. Where can people get that?
Well, this is just here on the show. I'll tweet it out later today as well. So, if I'm putting anything out on the show, the odds are I'm going to tweet it as well at CalSportsLV.
Ralph, nice day yesterday. 2-0. You had 5% on a teaser with the Chicago Bears at +9. Yes.
Let me correct that, Prez. I actually went 1-1. What happened was this. We updated our computer system. You guys see the new web page. When you put a teaser in, you could only put one of the two teams in, and it has to be graded manually the next day. I did lose the second part of the teaser. I did manually change that grade to a loss, so I did lose. So, guys, don't overreact if you see a record pop up on a teaser that you might have lost and won or vice versa. We have to manually change those. It gets changed the next morning. So 1-1 day for me.
Well, anyway, you won your 5%, and I was freaking out for you, dude. I was like literally freaking out. All my plays were in. I was done. I had the under in the Indy game, and I'm like, Ralph needs Chicago +8. Whew. That one was a nail biter. It always is. Nothing is easy in this game, huh?
Guys, I had the same thought as you. The Colts defense wasn't quite as good as it thought. But here's something I thought I'd never hear myself say. Fourth quarter of the Bears-Colts game. I want Mitch Trubisky.
Yeah. And on that note, guys, that's the show. Teddy is up next, 1 p.m. Eastern with Drew Martin, NFL opening line report. Make sure to check that out. Teddy, that is a I don't know if you know this, Teddy, that is the third most watched show on the WagerTalk TV network. Did you know that?
I've been doing that show for the better part of the last 20 years. And I've been doing it. Honestly, it's the best show for as good as this show is, that's the best show that I do. I encourage you, watch it every Monday because we'll tell you where the lines are going to move and what bets you got to make now and what bets you got to make later in the week. So check it out.
On that note, on that note, on behalf of Ralph and I, however good this show is, the NFL presidential address is 73 times better. Anyway, we love you guys. We'll see you all tomorrow. Big thank you to Marco for giving us his time. Ralph Michaels, like always, you're a legend and a god to me. Teddy Covers, bugger off. Thank you, everyone, for watching. We'll see you all tomorrow. Teddy, take us home.
Hey, enjoy the games. Good luck tonight. We'll be back again in 23 hours right here on WagerTalk Today.
Every Monday is $9 Mondays over at WagerTalk.com and SportsMemo.com. Get any best bet or daily package for only $9.